Hello and welcome back to another speed build, and in this speed build I'm making a house which I named Californian Cottage. And the reason I named it that is because I think it's a the style of the house is California Bungalow, something which I looked up, and I saw a bunch of pictures of them and I thought they looked really neat, so I thought I'd make one myself for this let's play. And this house will be used for the two sisters that live together and are twins. And despite being twins and identical twins, they have very different personalities. One of them is quite a laid-back girl. She is going to be a writer, an author. But the other girl is a very popular girl who's sort of stuck in her teens in many ways. So it'll be interesting to see how they get along. And they have a lot of arguments quite often. So yeah. Here I'm sort of incorporating a second level, which I know bungalows don't have, but I noticed with a lot of California bungalows, they seem to have a bit popping out at the top, so I thought I'd do that in this house. And I'm really happy with how this house ended up looking. I think it looked really good. So that's really good. One thing which sort of annoyed me is how sometimes when we have the roof sort of popping out and yeah, the bits at the sides, it just sort of looks a bit weird. It's kind of hard to explain. I'll point it out when I do it, but it's sort of the roof coming off just from the next to the porch. Yeah, some stuff happened. And here I'm doing chimney, and I don't know why I exactly did chimney. I just thought it'd be kind of nice, and I do end up adding putting a fireplace inside. So yeah, and I'm just doing the brickwork and adding in the chimney, and I do this quite often with a few of my builds. I use a tallest half wall and then I put a chimney inside of it because it does make it look quite nice and it does fit in quite well. So yeah, also in terms of the let's play, I'm probably gonna hopefully have a trailer up maybe next week or possibly later. I can't give anyone like a guarantee on when I'm gonna have it up, but that's kind of when I can have it up. Because probably next week, because I will be getting better internet and I do want to be able to upload more. And the last build which I uploaded, the Bluebell, that took a very long time to upload. It took about 1,000 minutes, I think. No, it took about 10 hours. So it just shows how really bad my internet is. I don't know how long it should take roughly. I think a couple of hours should be fine, like hopefully, but we're just sort of trying to find a good internet provider. So I mean, if you're from Britain, it sounds kind of random, but if you're from Britain, please do leave in the comments any suggestions for internet providers that you use or anything like that, because it'd kind of help. So here I'm putting in the windows, and I know in the last build I did a sort of similar thing, but at the same time I didn't use these windows. I used some different windows and I did the same three, but I thought these windows sort of fit in with the style. I based a lot of this house off of an image I found on Google. There was like one image and I based most of the front sort of around it, and it's really cute and I really liked it, and that's sort of what gave me the inspiration to have the ivy sort of hanging off from the fences. And I was just seeing which of the two bay windows I would use, and I decided to use this one, which I don't really use much, so I think it's nice to have a bit of a change. Here I'm adding in some some columns and some stairs for the porch, and here I'm doing the ivy thing, which I did mention a few seconds ago. I do quite like how this looks. I think even though it might look a bit weird to some people, to me it does fit in quite well. And I was going to put in a column there, but then I thought I did want to use a pipe, so I used that in the end because I do like a lot of the pipe items. And yeah, and I used some spandrels from Get Together because a lot of the other ones appeared too fancy, so I was just sort of like, I don't know. I just thought they're too fancy and a bit too much, so I just thought I'd use the one from Get Together. Here I'm starting to add in a picket fence and a little path, and I thought I'd use slightly spaced out pebbles just to give it sort of like it's been spaced out, and it's kind of got this sort of fairy tale feeling. This whole house does. And I think the picket fence did bring up the price quite a lot. And here I put on the stairs for the back porch, But in the end I actually don't include a door to go to the back, so I end up making it just so you have to go out from the front door and around the back, which isn't too much of a hassle considering it's quite a small house, because I ended up putting a sink in front of where I was going to put the door, and so I kind of found that out at the end, and I was like, why did I do that? Here I'm putting in a nice little window with a few yellow tints in it, and here I'm adding a bit more picket fence. I don't do it all the way around the house, I just do it up to this tree, and then I leave the back kind of open, which I think does, it's quite nice. It makes the house feel quite nice. And yeah, I use a lot of trees and a lot of landscaping as well on this lot, which probably also contributed to me sort of having a bit of a panic towards the end where I was like, okay, I don't have enough money. And here I used the woohoo bush. I thought it'd look kind of nice, and it does. I think it can actually be functional. I'm not too sure, but I think it can be. And my landscaping has got a lot better, I think. I looked here and I was like, okay, my landscaping does look a lot nicer. I use a lot of outdoor retreat plants and items in general. Like I use the flooring in the porch, and I use the plants, like I said, and a few things in the kitchen as well. I do quite like the cereal box item. That I use that quite a lot. Here I'm putting in another bay window. I only use two of them, but they're quite nice actually. They give a sort of I don't know, ship, like sort of boat feeling, which might sound kind of weird, but if we ever have boats or anything in this game, which I kind of doubt we will, but yeah, I'd probably be using that quite a lot. I just put one little window on this floor on the other side, and here I'm adding a bit more landscaping just by the tree. And originally I was going to have a fire pit underneath the tree, but then I realised I really don't have enough space, so I just put some plants, and then I have a barbecue thing, a grill, and a table and some chairs. Sorry if I'm being a bit weird with my words. I can't speak today by the sounds of it, but yeah. And I'm using one of the base game tables and chairs. I don't know why I'm forgetting all the words. And I was going to put a plant here, but I sort of realised that I need something to put next to the grill. All I could really think of was put a plant next to the grill, so I put a little lamp from Perfect Patio Stuff on the table. Here I'm moving around to the back and adding a bit more landscaping to the back, and I do like a lot of the landscaping that came with Outdoor Retreat. It does look very nice. It's very green. I like that. It's very, very brightly coloured. And here I'm adding a few rocks, which I used to overdo, but I don't do as many rocks anymore because my landscaping looks better. I don't know. I think it does. And I think I'm coming on to this side now, and I just realised the side looked very bare, so I decided to put some ivy there. And I did a little thing which I saw the Tides Changing do. She used this plant to have a few flowers in between, which I ended up kind of scrapping. There's a little bit of flowers, but you can't really see much. I was going to put a tree here, but I don't think I put a tree there in the end because it became a bit too much of a hassle, and it kept like clipping into the walls, and I was just like, okay, there's no point doing that if it's going to mess with my gameplay, so I just left it as a few plants, and then that was it. And as you can see, the exterior is pretty much less done. I'm just doing a few things inside. I was going to put the stairs there, but then I realised I wanted to have a fireplace there. So yeah. And upstairs there is an extra room for what I was going to have a half bathroom, but I realised I didn't have enough money to have a half bathroom, so it's just an empty room for now. But I suppose if the sisters ever get enough money, then they'll be able to get a half bathroom. And as you just saw there was a really weird glitch when I tried to go to the basement. I mean, I wasn't going to add a basement, but I just accidentally pressed the page down. I was like, what's going on? And I've seen this sort of stuff happen before, like at my loading screen in my old computer. Sometimes it do things like that, go black and white, and then when I click on stuff, it just sort of fades out into the distance. I don't know if that's a glitch or if it's something wrong with my computer, but I hope it does fix itself, or it isn't a huge problem in the long run. Here I'm adding in some counters, and I try to use different colour counters, but I only seem to use the traditional ones. I don't really know why, but I just do. And the kitchen, as you can see, is very small. It's in like a 2x5 space, which is kind of strange, but it is open, so that seems to be fine. And I use quite a consistent size counters on the top, which does fit quite well. I was gonna put a little I think they're called hoods. I just call I don't really know what I call them. I call them, so I don't know. One of the things that go over the stove. I was gonna put one of them in, but I ended up not doing that. I think it's kind of strange to have a stove above, like, below a window. I don't really know why. I just can't imagine it, because like logically you'd probably steam the window up quite a lot. But I guess in my imagination you could probably just open the window and let all the steam out, which might be why I don't have a range hood. That's what they're called, range hoods. But I still don't think that makes sense. I probably sound a bit stupid saying that. But yeah, I could use quite a few wall lights in this house, actually, in a few rooms. I use it in the bathroom and the upstairs. And the upstairs landing is really small, and I think that's quite realistic, because that was sort of inspired by a house which I went to not too long ago. And they had a really, really small upstairs little bit, but they had like 2 bedrooms leading off of it. And sadly, you can't do that with Sims 4, because there's an issue with that. If you have like 2 doors on like one tile, it doesn't seem to work for one of them. But yeah, here I'm starting in the living room, and I did put in that sort of lining between the tiling and the wood floors, which did cost a lot of money, which kind of annoyed me, because I think that that fence should technically be the cheapest, considering that it's like, it's just a line, but whatever. Here I'm adding in a dining table. I was going to put a study there, but then I realised that the girl who needs the study will actually have her own space, so they probably don't need one downstairs, so I put a little dining table and chairs. I was going to put a window next to the door, but I decided not to. I was going to do this kind of weird thing with a window off the door, but I decided not to. And what am I doing now? Yeah, here I'm moving on to, but I was going to add a dish cabinet, but I decided not to, because I didn't want to use the same one, and also it just sort of, it was too blocky in front of that window, so I think I just ended up putting a plant, but I think I ended up getting rid of the plant, actually. So it's kind of just a dining table and chairs there. Because the curtains are a bit too, the window's a bit too large, I just put one curtain at the side. Imagine that you just drag it across, close the curtains. And I swap these plants around. It's kind of strange how I put plants on all these houses, because realistically speaking, like in my house, I have a few plants around, but I don't have floor plants at all. I don't know why. Probably due to the fact I have a dog. That might have something to do with it. If I was going to get some some plants, they would be fake plants though, because I've tried keeping a real plant, and especially because it's right behind my computer, it just died within like weeks, so that's not great. I put the TV above the fireplace here, and I'm just having a bit of a break here. I remember that. And I used 2 different styles of chairs, because I imagine that I just thought a slightly mismatched feel would be nice in this house. Although I think that the girl who's quite a bit of a popular girl who still wants to sort of be in her teens, I guess, would probably disapprove of having like older styled furnishings. So if you can only background noise, my dog's barking away and there's a train going past my house, so that's great. So yeah, I was experimenting with wallpaper. I really didn't want to use the wallpaper that I ended up with, just because it's extremely expensive, but I did end up using that wallpaper just because I think it looked the best. It does look a bit much, I think, but I think that's the best I could really use, because if I use the regular wallpaper, I would have to spend a lot of money on paintings and things like that. But with this wallpaper, you don't really need to. I put a backsplash on this wall behind the stove, and then I think I had a couple of things in. I think I start working this year. I start working on the kitchen, and I do use a bit of move objects here and there. But yeah. On another note about my LP, I have made all the characters. I do keep editing them because I have a few issues with them. Some of them, like their icons, are a bit weird, but then when like you actually go to detail them, like you don't see what's wrong. But I'm quite happy with myself. I made a lot of my Sims very diverse, so you'll probably be able to see yourself, I guess. I've made a lot of my characters very diverse, which is what I like. Because I do have a habit of, when I do my own, when I make my own Sims, I mostly make the same sort of type of Sims, and I think having a bit more diversity does make it a bit more interesting. Like, it does make it sound a bit sad though when I tell my friends how happy I am about making these different types of Sims. I'm like, oh my gosh, I made like this, and I'm like, wow. And then like one of my other friends, she does enjoy playing The Sims, and we kind of play together in the sense that we do like building challenges against each other. But the whole diversity thing, we just sort of laugh about it because we always make the same type of Sims. Like, we don't make the same types, but we make our own separate types. And here I'm moving on to the bathroom. This is what I mean. I'm getting a bit mad. I'm just forgetting everything. And I put in counters because I imagine that this house, the only thing they sort of refurnished was the loft. Because originally I was going to have the loft sort of be kind of dodgy, like they just got in, but I imagine that the previous owner probably renovated the loft. And yeah, that's what would have happened, I suppose. So she has quite a nice little setup. And I put this random painting next to the mirror, and I just sort of balance things out quite nicely. I kind of wish we had like a toilet roll item that you could just place on top of counter surfaces, because that's sort of what I do. We don't have a toilet roll holder in my house. I just have like I used to put toilet roll at like the top of the toilet or in like boxes, because like I said in my previous speed build, I have boxes everywhere. I didn't actually use many boxes in this build, sort of mostly because I was running out of a lot of money and I didn't have, like, I did have space to put clutter, but I didn't really have the money to do it. So yeah, I'm moving on to Becky's bedroom. That's the name of the girl, and I'm just using a few lights, and I made her bed look. I used a flowery bed. I was going to use a pink one, but the pink one I thought was a bit much. And I'm using it onto a little sort of dressing area, I guess. I use a plastic chair underneath it, just because I don't want to. I was going to use like a living room chair, but I think I've done that in the past. I just thought I'd use this chair, because I don't want to use like a really cheapy chair, but I just thought this might look kind of nice. I do something a bit weird. I actually put the dresser in front of the window, not completely, but it sort of blocks the view. But I imagine she probably isn't the best at room design, so she just sort of like this, and then she's done. The other girl's a lot more organised, a lot more sophisticated and stuff, and I do have a few ideas of what's going to happen, but I'd love to let you know. I'd love you guys to let me know your opinion. And I used a very nice pastel colour that I've never actually seen before, and I think it looks really nice. And at this point I sort of started panicking. I was like, okay, I only have 3,000 furnished upstairs, but then I did realise I probably was going to be enough. As I went upstairs, I had used the same wallpaper, and that wallpaper alone in that small space cost me about 244 simoleons, I think, which is a lot. He was putting in the not the ensuite, the half bathroom upstairs, which I guess is kind of strange. I think in most houses you'd have a half bathroom downstairs instead of upstairs, but I don't know, I guess it's different in the situation. And her bedroom is a lot more grand. Her name's Yvonne, but I think I might change that, because I don't really know why. I don't like the name Yvonne. I just don't like it. It's really strange. I don't understand why I don't like the name. I just don't. And that might sound really strange to some people, but I just don't like the name, and I really don't understand that. Sorry if you're called Yvonne. I was trying to be experimental with like different names, but I don't know, I'm probably going to change that. And I was playing with these few wallpapers. I was only going to use the 2 smoky wallpaper in this room. I do try a few other ones, but I'm just only going to use the 2 smoky ones in this one, I think, in the end. In the end, I go with a sort of beige colour, and I do change the flooring to carpet, because yeah, here, like because I kind of see that as a very plain look, but sort of more sophisticated look, and most of the colours more in the other objects, although I didn't get as much money as I'd like to furnish the room. Ideally I'd have like lots of books all over the floor, because she is an author and she loves reading. She's a bookworm. And here's the sort of point where I started panicking. I was like, oh no, I haven't got enough money for a dresser. And I spent ages trying to get enough money for the tall dresser, but in the end I actually realised that the walk-in wardrobe is cheaper. So I imagine that the chimney probably isn't used anymore, and that the fireplace they have is an electric fireplace, so it's sort of like because originally that would have been an actual chimney, but now it's not an actual chimney. They have a walk-in wardrobe inside of it. So that's the story of that. I get rid of a few plants and enlarge a few outside just to make a bit more money. And I changed the tall wall speaker to a small one, which did give me a lot of money. But I do put on like this little end table. And then I have enough room for a walk-in wardrobe. I was going to use this one, but then I sort of realised it looks kind of ugly, and I was like, I don't really like it. I put a stack of books next to her computer and a pencil holder, which I think sort of fits her personality, I guess. I'm hailing dust again, like I said in my last video, which is annoying. But yeah, I think we're starting to come. No, we've got a bit more to go till the end of this video. I was experimenting with like plain colours, and I think I don't have much left in the video. So yeah, here's the point where I realised that I don't have enough. That I completely messed up with the backyard idea. So I just I increased the amount of chairs on the table, and I moved the barbecue up to the corner. I was originally going to add in 5,000, but then I realised that there's no point, like, oh, their parents gave them money because they want them out the house. But I decided not to do that. So coming near to the end, if you want to find us on the gallery, look up hashtag Californian Cottage or hashtag Swiftly Simmer on the gallery. And I have my origin ID and my gallery account in the description below. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.